Swift drivers, anybody out there who is driving through the snow during this treacherous winter season, take a look at what we're driving on right now. This is US Highway 12 heading out into Lewiston Valley, Carson Valley. It is clearly snow-packed, ice on the road. I'm currently doing 40 miles per hour. I do have my traction control on, and if you'll notice, the steering is very steady. One of the things you got to remember when you are driving in the winter time, any kind of snowy condition, especially ice, always make sure your speed is appropriate for the conditions. After 17 years of driving, being able to push the envelope just a little bit every time to know what I can and cannot do, as well as what my truck can and cannot do. That will get you into the habit of knowing when to push on the throttle, when to let off the throttle, when to push on the brakes, and how much pressure to put on your brakes. Right now my RPMs are sitting around 1300. I'm climbing a small little grade. It's nothing really substantial. But I want to keep my RPMs pretty steady. I don't want my RPMs to get too high. The higher my RPMs get, the more risk I have of losing traction on the ice. Eventually in these automatics, the truck will shift itself. If you are coasting downhill, in my opinion, this eco coast is very dangerous. So one of the things you can do, most of these automatic trucks do have a manual option. I am currently driving a Kenworth T680 2020. It's got pretty good torque, low end torque and horsepower, and the manual option on it does work. On the shifter here, if you push the button in, it'll put you into a manual option. With the manual option, it will not downshift or upshift unless you do it yourself from the shifter. So currently I'm in 10th gear. I'm going 42 miles per hour, continuing with slow, steady steering, maintaining 1300 RPM. One of the other things you can do when you are driving in the winter, try to look for the place on the road that has the best traction. Currently I'm driving on pretty dry snow. Dry snow, if you're aware, has a little bit more traction than wet snow. So always know what it is that you're driving on, what type of snow it is, how hard packed it is to the road. If it's slushy snow, you definitely need to slow down even more. Okay? It is December 31st, and my co-driver and I have been driving through winter conditions all throughout December. We have chained up four or five times already. I know it's Swift's policy to shut down if you need to chain up, and while I agree with that, if you are an inexperienced driver, you don't know how to drive in this stuff, slow down, find a safe place to pull off. But eventually you guys are going to have to learn how to chain up. Eventually you're going to learn that the freight doesn't stop moving just because it's the winter time. We were down in Sparks, Nevada not too long ago, and I was speaking with a customer service representative at a Lowe's distribution freight that was getting down into the Reno and Sparks area. So one of the things that we had to do was trip plan. Donner Pass was closed. We had to look for an alternate route that was open and was safe enough for us to drive through. We found that alternate route. And yes, we did have to chain up on one of those grades. I believe it was the Willamette grade. But we slowed down and we made it to our delivery on time. Just because it's the winter time doesn't mean you have to shut down. You just need to slow down.
Yep.
Okay? So I hope this little bit of video instruction helps some of you guys. Still pushing 40 miles per hour on this icy road. Okay? Still holding steady at 1300 RPM. And I'm doing a video tutorial all while doing it. So, thanks a lot, guys. Stay safe out there. Hopefully we'll see you at one of the terminals.